Welcome to Hammer's Individual Rights e-learning lesson. When an individual arrives at Hammer, they go through their own Welcome to Hammer orientation. Part of that welcoming is letting that new individual know that they have many different rights living at Hammer. As a licensed provider, Hammer will provide the individual and their legal representative an explanation and written notice of these rights. Hammer does this within 5 days of that new individual's arrival and annually after that. But this isn't just a once-a-year kind of deal. Every day, Hammer and its awesome employees, like you, work hard to ensure these rights as authorized in the individual's CSSP or Coordinated Service and Support Plan and the CSSP Addendum. What do these rights include? These rights include communication rights. Individuals at Hammer have the right to use a non-coin operated telephone in private for local and long-distance calls. Individuals at Hammer have the right to send and receive snail mail and email without interference. They also have this right with online social media like Facebook and Twitter. Individuals at Hammer have the right to use and have free access to the common areas of their home. Individuals at Hammer have the right to have privacy, either in a common room or in their bedroom with any visitors they have over, including a spouse, friends, family, legal counsel, religious advisor, or any others. Right to know. Individuals at Hammer have the right to know all the conditions and terms of the services provided by Hammer, including their service limitations, initiation, any suspensions of services, and if Hammer ever terminates their service. Individuals at Hammer have the right to be informed of any changes in service. They have the right to be informed in advance of where the funding for their services is coming from. And they have the right to be provided with trained and professionally certified staff who meet the individual's needs as laid out in their CSSP and Support Plan Addendum. Participation rights. Individuals at Hammer have the right to participate in the development and evaluation of their services. Individuals at Hammer have the right to have person-centered services and person-centered CSSP and CSSP addendums. Individuals have the right to refuse or quit services and to be informed of what the consequences of doing that would be. Individuals have the right to know, in advance, Hammer's limits as a provider. This includes Hammer's knowledge, skill, and ability to meet the individual's needs. Protection-related rights. Individuals at Hammer have the right to have their information kept private and to be told when that information is disclosed. They also have the right to have full access to records and information kept about them. Individuals at Hammer have the right to be free from restraint, timeout, seclusion, restrictive intervention, except in the case of emergency use of manual restraints, or if the safety intervention is a part of the Positive Support Transition Plan. Individuals at Hammer have the right to live in a safe and clean environment. Individuals at Hammer have the right to be treated with courtesy and respect. Individuals at Hammer have the right to have their property treated with respect. Individuals at Hammer have the right to be free to practice their cultural or religious beliefs. They have the right to be free from bias and harassment regarding race, their gender, their age. Individuals at Hammer have the right to be free from bias and harassment regarding any disability. Individuals at Hammer have the right to be free from bias and harassment regarding their spirituality. They also have the right to be free from bias and harassment regarding their sexual orientation. They have the right to be informed on Hammer's complaint policy and how to make one, and to know who to contact for protection and advocacy services, and to do so without retaliation from Hammer. They have the right to engage in activities they choose with the people they choose to do those activities with. They also have the right to give or withhold consent to participate in research or experimental treatment. When may an individual's rights be restricted? Well, rights should rarely be restricted, but there are times when this may need to happen in order to protect the individual or other individuals. Rights may be restricted if it's ordered by the court or if misuse or participation puts the individual at risk of serious harm. Any restriction of a right must be documented in the person's CSSP and CSSP addendum. If rights are restricted, they must be determined necessary to ensure the safety, health, and well-being of the individual. The restriction must also be based on an assessment of vulnerability and be done in the least restrictive manner. There also needs to be steps put in place to end the right restriction. Lastly, if there is a restriction of rights, Hammer must have signed and dated approval. If the approval is withdrawn, the right must be restored immediately.